Well, hello again, everybody. This is my 2019 Ford Fusion Energi. I don't actually own this guy. He's more of a lease, and Ford had an incredible deal on a lease for this car. I'm going to do some comparisons, contractions, and give you some ideas of what this car is all about and what I think of it. You already know what my feelings are about my Honda Insight. I absolutely love that car. But I'm going to tell you the advantages of this car and the disadvantages of them, and give you an idea. As you can see, I opted for the blue. Didn't have much of a choice. This was one of the first ones that came in to my dealership in the area. It's actually not a bad looking car overall. So let's go ahead and start at the front. One of the things I always liked about the Fusions was the face. And this is straight, dude, this is an Aston Martin face. That is about as close to a ripoff as you're going to get on a face of any car out there. Personally, I think it's beautiful. They changed the grille on this year to this new, I don't know, kind of Grady looking grille. I think it's very, very good looking, and I'm very happy with it. I think the front end of this car is absolutely gorgeous. I think they hit a knockout with it. Now, all these opinions I'm going to have on this isn't going to make much of a difference to Ford, because as far as I can tell, they're going to be dumping this car, which I think is a mistake. I think they really need to update it. So this car, of course, comes with nice fog lamps. The headlamps on this car are very good. They're not in the same league as the Honda. The Honda's lights are absolutely incredible. But the lights are good. They are automatic brights, and they work very well. Ford's got that right, and it does very well. Behind the grille is where your radar and stuff is. And if you look at the windshield in the top center, that's where your camera for your lane assist is. We're going to move around to the side. Here you see the tires. These, of course, are probably going to be, low rolling resistant hybrid type tires. This is a hybrid with a plug-in. One thing about these tires, in Maine, we have a way of telling you what kind of tires you have. When people say they have all-season tires, we say what they really have. They have 3-season tires. Not all season tires are made alike. These tires are downright dangerous in snow and ice. Very dangerous. If you're going to get this car, you're going to want to get yourself some snow tires if you're going to do any significant driving in snow. These tires are dangerous in snow. I'm telling you that right now. You can drive in them. You just got to drive very slow, and you got to drive extremely conservative. Very, very important. They're relatively large, so you're going to probably pay about $600 for a set of snow tires. I haven't opted for them because I'm not driving much in snow if I can help it. And we're going to leave it at that. Here's your charge port. Essentially, it's a push and pop open. It's a standard charger. You can do fast charging. I mean, the thing only goes about 20 miles on a charge. This is a plug-in, so it will drive on pure electricity. I like the way it opens. It's pretty cool. It makes me feel, though, that it might break over a period of time. But it works fine. It also, the ring kind of lights up around it, too. Let you know how much charge you have in it and so forth, and while it's charging. You got your standard side view mirrors. One nice thing about this is you saw that on my Honda, I added up the puddle lights. This one has a puddle light. It's essentially right underneath here. It lights the ground down. I thought that was a nice little feature. This is where you're going to start seeing the differences between a $25,000 car and a $35,000 car. So it's not really an apples to apples, kind of comparison. It's more of an apple to orange comparison. One of the things I also like about this car, it's got blind spot monitoring, which is nice. A little light that lights up right over here. And something that's very nice on these rear view mirrors here, or these side view mirrors, as you would call them. They are actually tinted down so people's brights don't shine in your face. Most cars, as a cost-cutting measure, they might give you the tinted light, the tinted rear view mirror inside the car as an addition, but they don't do it on the side mirrors. Also, they are also heated, and I have had to need them to unfog them, so it was very nice. The side of the car is actually very nice. You already gotten a good view, no need to go all that. Standard gas. This one doesn't have a gas cap, which I found very interesting. I've never had a car without a gas cap. Works perfectly fine. I don't know the advantages, except you don't lose your gas cap. But, who cares? All right, we're going around to the back. It actually came with a very nice spoiler, and it actually looks nice on this car. But I don't find the back end particularly engaging. I think it's pretty standard fare look, kind of Ford. Never liked the Ford symbol either. I wish they would go to a more fancy kind of symbol or something a little different, but you got your whole name down behind that that symbol for 100 years plus, you might as well leave it. This is the titanium version. It was the only version I believe that's available at this point. I don't think they have a platinum version at this point. Now, it also comes with parking sensors in the rear, right back here, which also includes cross traffic notification, which is fantastic. I really wish Honda would add that to their car, or at least as an option. Funny thing is, this one doesn't have front parking sensors, so it's a little difficult in my garage. I got to be careful when I pull in. Also, this camera here, this rear view camera, right back there, it tends to get dirtier faster and more easily than on my Honda. Is that important? No, you just got to make sure you wipe it down. Now, I'm going to show you the biggest Achilles heel of this car. Well, before I do that, let me show you. It's got one of those stupid antennas. I don't like these screw-on antennas. I'm always worried that they're going to bust in a car wash. FYI, I used to screw it off. I forgot to do it once, went through the car wash, no problem. If you have one of those car washes with a spinning thing brush on top, I would take it off. It unscrews, you can screw it right back on. The car is also a bit bigger, so if you're fat like me, it's kind of hard to reach. Now to the Achilles heel, one of the biggest Achilles heel of this car. And yes, it says Row Ford, bought it from Row Ford in Westbrook, had a very good experience from them. I am taking that sticker off. It is ugly, ugly, ugly. I will give you the name of the salesperson I did because he was very nice. I was very happy, and I have no reason not to send people to him if you decide to do a purchase. I'm going to open this trunk, and you're going to see something that falls under the category of stupid. Let's pop this guy open if I can. There we go. This is a trunk. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Now, I know Ford's not going to put any time into redesigning this car to put the batteries under the seats or to fix it like Tesla and put it underneath. I mean, come on. This only has like a 20-mile range on the batteries. It should not fill in like this. This apparently they did not take any time to do any additional design ideas. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. It doesn't matter to me. I don't go anywhere. I don't have a big family, so I don't need all that much room, mostly just for my little cleaning supplies. Yeah, so it's messy as usual. And there's my microfiber towel, so I can wipe it off when I dry it. Over here, you got where your 12-volt battery is. Easy access, no problem. If you look under here, pretty big-ass speakers. No sub, which I found very interesting for this car. But look at the magnets on those. That's a Sony sound system. We're going to go over that later. Now, those seats go down. I don't know why. Maybe to put a ski through there. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's dumb, and it's probably been a big part of why this car may not have sold much, at least not the plug-in hybrid version, because you're kind of screwed if you got a family. So I might be a little more meandering on this car. I don't know as much about it. I have driven it a bit, and I've been very impressed with certain things and very unimpressed with certain things. This is unimpressive. You need to know about this. Now, let me tell you, when I did the lease on this was a couple of months, about 3 months ago, Ford was offering over $10,000 of incentives to lease this car. I wanted something that was going to give me good gas mileage, that I could use. I didn't want to wear out my Honda. And at $10,000 in incentives, you can literally lease this car for about $280 to $300 a month. Which, with a car this size, plug-in hybrid, you don't even need a 220 plug. You can charge this thing up in about 7.5 hours it takes. It comes with a charger. You just plug it into a 110 if you got it in your garage. It's charged in 7.5 hours. It'll even inform you on your cell phone whether you got it charged or not. I was just looking for my cell phone, and I forgot I'm filming for it. Nice thing about these wipers, they do tend to tuck down when they're done wiping. I think it's a nice little touch. However, if you do shut off the car in mid-drive, whatever, in mid-wipe, they will not continue to run and then park. A little annoyance, not really all that important, but something to note. This car also has the unlocking handles if you have your fob on you. Touch there to lock. And of course, you got this keypad that you can always do. I don't use it, don't care, but whatever. We're going to open it up and look in there. Actually, a pretty nice looking door panel. I hope these things are coming through because it's a little dark today. It does have seat memory, which is nice, something that the Honda doesn't have. But then again, as I said, this is about a $10,000 more car in general, so there are going to be things that are going to be a little bit more involved with this car. You got your typical buttons here. I mean, there's really not much to say about it. You know, your tweeter and your woofer down here for your sound system. You even got a nice place here for a drink. Never put a drink there. Maybe I'll try it. It actually lights up. This thing's got ambient lighting, which is very nice. I did get the all-season floor mats, and boy, are they nasty. I do actually clean my car. I generally don't do too much with the mats until later in the season, and then I spray them off every now and then. A little dirty now, maybe I should clean them, but, you know, bite me. Here's the seat. Let me tell you something about this seat. This is a very comfortable looking seat. I'm telling you right now, it ain't all that comfortable. It's not uncomfortable. It's just not as comfortable as it looks. I sit in it, as I've told both of you, all you guys, I am a fat mammal. I sit comfortably, and it's black, which is good, so I don't have to have a seat cover. I have black pants, so you can rub some black dye on there. It'll clean off, not a problem. But these seats are not particularly comfortable. They're okay. It does have lumbar support, which I don't understand. I mean, obviously it works for many people, so it must be important. But for me, it just feels like someone's shoving a fist in my back, and I'm not using that. One thing I also like, I like these headrests. They kind of move forward in clicks. And then when you're done, you push it all the way forward and it pops back. So you can literally move forward just a little bit more, you know, just a little bit at a time. And then you go all the way forward and packs. I think that's very nice, and it makes it very comfortable, so you can set it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause now, and we're going to jump in the car. All right, we're now in the car. I'm going to close the door, see. I don't remember. Yeah, this one is one of those welcoming ones. It does welcome you. Gives you nice little lights. How many miles? What I got? 2348 on this guy. Got your light support here. It does have automatics. You can set it automatic. And you got fog lamps settings on this thing as well as your rheostat settings, so you can get it brighter and so forth. No big deal there. Nothing to talk about. A bit of a busy steering wheel. It is heated. Again, another nice step. Very important. And look at this. LED lamps. Honda, listen up. You need to put LEDs. Don't get cheap. And oh my God, look at this. You can actually put your sunglasses away. Although this one's very narrow. I find when you open this thing, your sunglasses tend to fall out. These are just like little inserts that I put in my regular glasses to make them into sunglasses. So you can see it's being a pain in my freaking butt for me to close. You know what? I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll fix it later. Let me shut this off so I don't waste the energy. This is basically what you're looking at when you get into the car. Lots of buttons. The funny thing about the buttons on this is you'll look on this side, cruise control, this side, telephony, voice recognition. It's actually got a mute button. Something that Honda doesn't have on my steering wheel. Something I really wish I had. I might be missing something. If you guys in the Honda forums know how to mute without that, then yeah, by all means. All right, it's getting cold in here. So I'm going to start this darn car up so I don't freeze to death. Again, normal. Press the button. And one nice thing is, ooh, the seat slides into position and lets you know where you are. I love that. It's really nice. The funny thing is it doesn't always do it. Here it is, says ready to drive, 100% charged. If you look there, what's the charge amount? 16, bite me. I guess that has a lot to do with, hang on a second. I think it has a lot to do with the cold. It was a little higher when it was warmer, so, you know, the car, your mileage may vary. As you can see, it's 27 degrees, not as cold as it was last time when I did one of these reviews. But, you know, basically that's it. That thing will stay there until you start driving. You can hit the OK button right down here to clear. That's where you clear out a lot of your stuff. And then you get this busybody looking thing. Here's your center stack. You see this? Network connection needed to complete the system updates. My Ford is receiving data from, that's from the Ford app. It's free with this car, which means I can start this car and I can unlock it, and it gives me all sorts of information, including what the charge is, just like the Honda app does, except I don't have to pay $110 a year. Honda, listen up. I understand you need to make money to keep the thing running. Please lower that price. It's way too high. I've been getting this going on forever about network connection needed to do updates. I think this thing's kind of touchy about how it does updates. We'll get into it later. I bought a new router, so I'm going to put in a new router and see if I get less of this problem and it actually attaches. So let's go ahead, hit no. We're not going to do networks. We're going to go through all the settings later. All right. First things first, let's talk about some of the things on there. Oh my God, it got dusty. I haven't driven this in a little while. All right, a few things to discuss about this car. First of all, the steering wheel is heating up. This is great for diabetics. If you're a diabetic, you'll understand your hands are frozen all the time. I love it. It's a fantastic option. Honda added in as an option. If you don't want to give it to the person for the Insight, fine. Add it in as an option. Also, pretty good gas mileage, 44.6 for a car this size. That is pretty not bad, and that's also considering I only charge it going to work. Coming back, it's running back only on hybrid mode. So to get 44, I've actually gotten about 48, and that's in cold weather. That's pretty good for a car this size. I think Ford should be congratulated for that. That's not so bad. I think it says a lot for their software and how it runs the engine and so forth. Now, a lot of these gauges are a little difficult for me to even understand. I'm actually going to hit the 2-time button, see if that helps. There we go. A lot of these gauges are a little bit more difficult for me to understand. I'm not going to be able to explain them as much. I mean, obviously, miles per gallon. There are so many different ones here. Also, you know, it shows you these little things here to tell you which way to put the buttons. I mean, this is the unit. This is what you're going to be using. Yeah, nice nasty look at my nasty fingernails. On the left, of course, are the lines next to show that you have lane keep assist on, and of course your car, and in front of the car is going to show like the back end of another car when your vehicle sees the radar for your radar controlled cruise control. Now you can shut off lane keep assist. As you can see, you can actually turn that all off. Actually, we're not running, so it's kind of hard to see what's going to happen, but basically it's on the stock right here. It's right on the tip. It's where your lane watch is on the Honda. Just press it, turns it off, as you can see, turns it back on. Very simple operation for the system. That's very simple. The funny thing that I've noticed with this car is, as we know, as many of us may know, a lot of these safety systems are bought from outside companies, like German companies or one of these tech companies, and they come with a set of suites and probably sensors, and they're all mostly coming from basically the same companies. I've been in multiple cars when I was test driving to see what kind of car I wanted as a secondary and a primary car before I bought the Honda. And a lot of them had that same exact symbol. It was the same looking car, the same lines on the side, and when you go into cruise control, and I don't think I'm going to be able to turn on the cruise control here. Yep, yeah, you can. That same little icon down there in the bottom. Always the same in most of those cars. It's like what they do is they take the generic icons, and say, oh, we're going to put them in the car, and we'll go. As you can also see in the car, it says Eco. You can set the cruise control to 2 different versions, regular or Eco. Eco, it's very careful about how it engages up to speed. It's slower at how it does it. You know, it's nice. You can literally push this car to get the best gas mileage, and it will respond. And it's something I do like. Of course, you see the lines. That's your how far for your radar to engage. You just press these little buttons here as usual. There's really not much to it. Very simple. I let the car do its own EV controls. This is going to be these are going to be long videos. I'm sorry. I just like to get really deep into this so people can get an idea of what they're looking at. I have a lot of trouble understanding these EV, these gauges that they show here. Obviously, it's miles per gallon. Fine, you got the battery there. That's showing a full battery. When your battery is totally full, you know, when you actually have charge left for the plug-in aspect of the hybrid, that thing will lower slowly until it's empty. Once it's empty, it goes to another battery. That battery will show how your hybrid battery is, meaning how much charge you have for hybrid driving. You know, it'll go up and down. It'll also show a little symbol as you brake for you know, showing that it's charging and so forth. Not too bad. Now, I saw another review on this car that said these menus are pretty darn old. I think they look pretty nice. If they are old, well, then maybe it's time to change them. I also found that going through these menus is a little difficult and a little confusing on this car. I think they could find a better way to do it, but you know, we'll go into it. Let me give you my opinions on this car. One of the things I was looking for, I was so impressed with the way that the Honda handled its cruise control, basically making it would follow cars, it would come to complete stops. You could literally start from a complete stop at a traffic light, even if you had no car in your radar in front of you. You just press resume. This car does that 90% of the way. This car will follow other cars. It will, you know, it sees them in the radar, will follow them, it'll keep its cruise control, it'll increase and decrease speed, it'll come to a complete stop and wait. In order to resume, all you have to do is either tap the resume button or push on the gas. Now, unlike the Honda, you just tap on the gas and it'll resume. On this car, you have to push the gas down a little bit more. So you got to be a little bit more committed if you want to keep going. Just the way this car responds. The radar in this car is also 100 times, it's much better than the one on the Honda. I had commented about the Honda, not about having trouble seeing cars sometimes. If I'm driving 35 miles per hour and there's a car in front of me and it's at a stoplight, and I'm coming up on it, the Honda never seems to see it. I think it thinks it's a tree, and it's trying to ignore it. I think it's a mistake error, or it could be also that the sensor is way down on the bottom on the Honda instead of up top. This car almost never doesn't see cars. It's very reliable. It's much safer to drive in that aspect in your cruise control. I still keep an eye on things because, again, things like radar control, cruise control, especially in city environments, guys, that's there to help you. It's a tool. It's not there to drive for you. So it's very important you know that. The big problem is when it does see a car, all it does is it shows the butt of a car up top here. Now this thing is, I've got it at 2 times distance. I'm going to back it up real quick. As you can see here, it's hard to see that it's showing something's in the radar. This should be a much more prominent. It should have a big light or something letting you know that you've seen something in the radar. The car has radar view of another car, so you know that you're under radar control. This is very important in my opinion. A big mistake. Change this. Let's put some money into this Ford. I'm sure your other cars probably do it the same way. Put some money into it, guys. Don't leave it like that. Make your own little thing like Honda did. It's not good. You know, people depend on this radar. They depend that the car actually sees other cars ahead of you. If it's not right and they don't know it and they're not as careful as I am, and I'm generally pretty careful, they could ram into cars thinking that the car's going to stop for you. No. Get that fixed. That is not cool. Of course, you got your gas gauge. That don't mean anything. Now, the lane keep assist. This car, Ford has this new autopilot. It's not in this car. That pisses me off. I was hoping it would have it. It does not have lane centering. It does have lane keep, not lane keep assist, but, lane departure warning. It will essentially, tell if you're departing a lane. It'll shake your steering wheel. It'll even try to pull you back into your lane in emergencies like that. It barely responds. I don't know what the hell's going on, but you guys need to do a serious update on this Ford. I test these things just to see how the car responds. I want to know what the car is going to do because I don't rely on technology. I use it to make my life easier. Very important, guys. Make it for ease of use. Don't rely on it. This car barely responds. I've driven down a road straight. It sees the lines. These 2 lines on the sides will turn green each side. In fact, it'll look and see 1 line at a time, sometimes both lines and whatever. This car is actually very good at seeing the lanes. Much better than the Honda. I mean, leaps and bounds better than the Honda. It always sees lanes. The problem is, it never responds. I mean, I literally went across the center line and drove over the center line for a quarter of a mile before the darn thing even responded. I mean, it said I was out of my lane. It turned red, but the thing never shook my steering wheel. I mean, for all we know, I fell asleep behind the wheel. The thing should at least respond or say something. It said nothing. I have gotten it go off. It will go off, and there are settings to make it more sensitive. I have it set to full sensitivity. This is a problem, Ford. This needs to be fixed. Your lane departure system sucks, and I don't think it doesn't work. I think it's just set wrong. Fix it, guys. Big problem. But it does see the lanes much better than the Honda. I wish the Honda could see the lanes half as good. I don't know if this has a better camera in it or better sensors, or it's that radar sensor being on the bottom. Although lane keep assist, I was on the impression is mostly done by the camera. So it could be software. You know, there are a lot of things involved in this. It's really obnoxious. But we'll go through it. But that's basically what I have to say about lane keep assist on this car. Well, not lane keep assist, lane departure mitigation. One other thing, the Honda tends to say, brake, or collision coming and so forth. This one funny thing is, when I was looking with it, with the salesman, has these lights up there. At first, he thought maybe these were lights to charge the car. And I don't feel bad about the salesman not knowing. The car is new. I mean, not all salesmen know all cars. He may have even been new. He was great. I'm going to give you his name because he deserves business. I'm going to look it up, and I will give it to you in this video at some point if you go over to Roe Ford in Westbrook. He was a great guy to work with. These lights... It's very smart. It's actually very smart. When you're in a serious situation where you need to hit your brakes, these lights flash bright right across, and they blink, and you hear this beep 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 beep. It can be a little startling, but only a little startling. It's only startled me once. Sometimes it's going off where it was a little overreacting, but it wasn't unreasonable. Fantastic, because if you're like me and you got your music turned up light, you see that bright flashing light, you immediately know danger. The car senses some kind of danger, and you need to do something immediately. The car also has automatic braking, too, but it's only for collision mitigation. It's not anti-collision. If you're going 10 miles per hour, it'll stop on time, probably. But if you're going 30 miles per hour and you're expecting this car not to hit the other car ahead of you on its own braking, more than likely it's going to bang into the car ahead of you. It's just going to slam in the brakes at the last second to try to keep you from getting your face totally smashed in. So you end up with a broken nose, not a broken face. This is great. I actually like this. When I first saw it, I thought it was a HUD. I mean, I almost peed my pants. I love HUDs. I want a HUD. I will kill for a good HUD. And I'm not putting those stupid things that you lay on your dash and it shines. That's dumb. I want a good HUD. Put HUDs in these cars. But that is very good, Ford. Keep that up. It's excellent. And that may annoy some people, but it does what it needs to do. It's great for music situations. All right, now before I continue, obviously we're already up to 26 minutes. Holy crap, can I talk long? I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to start a new one, and we're going to continue for that point, and we're going to start going through some of these menus to show you some of the stuff that's on this side. You got two menus over here. Navigation, and then you got, of course, this side. So let's go ahead and stop it from here, and we're going to go on to the next run.